Welcome! We are Thorny Wench Game Studio, a new independent game company from Madison, Wisconsin. Our company's lead designers are myself, Naomi Bielefeld, and my partner, Jacob Schenk. We both have been designing games for friends and family since we were kids. We are very passionate about our company, and we have several games designed already. Today's event is to promote our Kickstarter for Thorny Wench's Game Studio's first completed game, Dragoonium. Dragoonium is a fantasy-themed card game with structures similar to Rummy. A year ago, Jake and I went on a camping trip together and spent evenings playing cards by flashlights in the tent during a storm. When we got home, Jake brought to me a Rummy Extreme version he created, since Rummy was just too boring for us and we wanted to exercise our brain muscles. We continued to bond over the game, spent hours brainstorming together, and the game evolved into what it is now, Dragoonium. As mentioned, this event is to promote our Kickstarter. The Kickstarter link will be displayed on screen from time to time, so it's easy to pledge while still participating in the Twitch event. If you pledge during this Twitch event, you will receive a pretty awesome secret bonus that will only be revealed to pledgers. You can pledge as little as $10, and the minimum amount to get a copy of the first edition game is $25. Reward pledges go up to $275. We are going to walk through gameplay. Please keep in mind that what you will see are the playtest versions, and we have spiffy art completed and designed on each of the cards. Sporadically on the right of your screen, like right now, the finished versions of the cards will be displayed. To see these printed on shiny cards, please pledge. We will be playing in slow motion today so you can see what is being done and have time to ask questions. I'll be responding to those questions as well as narrating the game. We will play for an hour, take a short break, and then play again. Keep in mind, the game is different depending on the colors each player chooses to use in the deck. So stick around to check out all the elements of our game. Thank you for listening to this very well thought out spiel. And now I bring you Dragoonium. So, right now, the players have chosen to use green. This there are champions for each color. This color is green, obviously, as you can see, unless you're colorblind, like myself. And it's called the Dragonette. There will be a picture of a dragon on it. And the other color is red. And this is the red dragon.
Explain what they do with the flavors.
Each champion can do a different ability. The red dragon can place a card from the discard pile to the wasteland, which basically means it's out of the game. The green one has some pretty cool psychic abilities to be able to see what's coming next. You will see this in action as we play. So, Steven is going to start first since the Jake dealt. He picks up a card from the draw pile. He takes a minute to review it, to organize his cards as such. He contemplates.
This card is...
After he has decided he no longer wants that card, or which card he chose, he discards. Right here. This area here is called the Abandoned Realms. Now it is Jake's turn. He picks a card. He contemplates. And he has decided to discard the 2. Steven picks a card. He contemplates seriously. He nods. And he discards the 6. Whoa, now here this is something different. Jake has decided to pick up from the Abandoned Realms. You can do that only if you can play what was in the Abandoned Realms from the farthest card you picked up. So,
I know that it might be obvious.
to play cards, you need to have either a run of the same suit, which is displayed right there, and Jake has a 5, 6, and 7 from the neutral deck. Another option you can do to score and play cards is to have a set of 3 or more of the same number. Now Jake is deciding to discard the poor unwanted 2. Now this means it is Steven's turn. He decides to pick up from the Abandoned Realms. This is getting intense. And he plays now.
Oh, it's all the same color.
It has to be the same color. This was clearly rehearsed so that you can see what not to do.
That was mine.
So now he picks up from the draw pile. He contemplates. He thinks. And he discards the 3. Jake just picked up from the Abandoned Realms. Let's see if he makes the same mistake. Aha! He has not. He has a set of 3s. Gotta try and keep it entertaining. He's decided to discard the 15 of the neutral set. That means it is Steven's turn again. He contemplates. He thinks. He smirks. And he draws. By the way, if you have any questions and you are in the chat room, you can go ahead and feel free to ask it, and I will answer it. Now, Steven has discarded the 10, which Jake has just picked up. This
No,
10...
Steven's
Oh,
discarded.
no,
Put it
sorry. Steven discarded this card. When you discard a card that has special text written on it, that is when the special text gets activated. This one says, you may activate your champion's minor ability. Now remember when I said that the champions had special awesome abilities you see during gameplay. This is a possible opportunity to see that happen. Let's see if Steven chooses to do this. He has decided to do it. So, his minor champion ability. Again, reminder, Steven is on the green team. He is playing the Dragonette. His minor ability is to look at the top of 2 cards of the draw pile. You may place one of them on the bottom of the deck. That is part of the psychic ability I was talking about. You may have your champion back. That means it is Jake's turn. He is going to pick up the 10 that was discarded. Now remember, he must be able to play it, so let's see what he does. He has decided to play 3 10s. And he is out! Oh, look at that! Out means he has no cards in his hand! And so, when that happens, the hand is done. Poor Steven didn't have any points scored. What was left in his hand, it counts as negative points. But since this is the first hand, and he doesn't have any points, we're not going to be too mean, so he gets 0. So Steven gets 0 points. Now Jake gets to count up the gold on each of the cards in his hand. I will show you what this looks like. All right. So you see that it says 2 gold right there.
Slide it.
What?
Slide the
Oh, oops, you cannot see that, can you?
card.
So,
A little bit more.
apparently still not.
There you go.
Now you can see that it says 2 gold. So on the bottom right hand corner, it will say how much gold that card is worth. And then we will write that down.
17.
Jake scored 17 gold.
That's how much I would have lost.
That is how much Steve would have lost.
Seven cards.
7 cards.
Now that one hand has been played, I'm going to leave it up to them to show you how it's done.
So do you play a specific number of hands per game?
Good question, says our audience participator. The question was, do you play a certain amount of hands? The answer to that is, you play to a certain amount of gold. And for 2 players, it's
90.
90 gold. So whoever gets 90 gold first is the winner, and thus champion of Dragoonium.
And that's however many hands that takes.
Exactly. So roughly in playtesting, we've learned it takes about an average of 4 hands,
Depending on the players.
depending on the players or the colors. But, you know, usually about 4 hands.
And we play 13, 14, 15 neutral. I will discard the red 13, the Sultana. It says, skip the next player's turn. So I will therefore be skipping your turn.
Thanks.
Looks like you're off to a great start this game.
Oh, awesome.
Alright. Drew a card, and then I will discard this red 8. You may go.
I'll play 11, 12, 13 red.
Anything else?
No.
So I guess one question that I have is, you guys mentioned in the beginning that you have abilities on the dragons, and you never really mentioned how you get to use those.
That is a very good question. If you score cards that are of your color, then you can tap it, which basically means just turning it sideways, and then say that you're going to use your ability that's written on there. The reason why they haven't done it, other than the discard that gave them the special ability to do so out of turn, is because they haven't scored cards in their color yet.
Okay.
And then the major ability you activate by paying gold. And it's a more powerful ability, so the point is that you are using it less often.
And when can you use these?
At any point, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You can use the abilities during your turn or during your opponent's turn.
When they seem to make sense, obviously.
There are some abilities that are conditional and require certain game states to be able to play, and those are explained on the cards. I will discard. Discard this 9.
Six.
What do you have over here?
11, 12, 13 red.
Well, speaking of abilities, I'm going to pay 5 gold to activate my major ability.
So as he just said, he's paying 5 gold to activate his major ability. His major ability is choose an opponent. They'll put 3 cards at random from their score pile to the wasteland, which means they're gone. So which is why you have to pay 5 gold to use that. There it is.
What happens to cards that go into the wasteland?
They get put aside.
They're removed from hand.
Yeah, they're removed from this hand. So unless there's another card that says otherwise, that's always the exception. They're removed essentially from the game for the duration of this hand.
So there isn't any way to get them back if they've been put into the wastes?
There are some cards that do it, but very few.
Very, very few. So
Lost 7 gold out of that.
And I will. And I will discard. Ooh. That's a good question.
since he was -5 at now for using his ability, the score is now Jake 12 to Steven 0.
I'll pick up down to the 9. Eight, 9, 10. And I will discard this 6 again. Discard the green 13.
Alright.
Green 13 has the ability that lets me look at another player's hand.
Oh, jeez.
So I will take this time to glance at everything that Steven has in his hand. I very much recognize the fact that he is probably going to pick that 13 up. Hopefully he can go out.
You mean hopefully for his sake?
Yes.
12, 13, 14, 11. Activate major ability.
So what did you play the 11 off of?
Off of his 10, 9, 8. Now since they're neutral color, I can play the neutral.
Once you have cards in your score pile, you can play off of cards that are in other people's score piles.
Activate my major ability, take the top card of the deck, the Abandoned Realms, and the Wasteland, put one of those into my hand, one to the score pile, and one at the bottom of the deck. This one.
So that's activating your minor ability?
Major.
Major. Nice.
Since he discarded the 14 neutral, it has that ability on it, which triggers the major ability on his dragon.
Which I could activate my minor ability to keep looking for the top.
So once again, that was take the top card of the deck, the Abandoned Realms, and the Wasteland. So this is where he can get a card back from the Wasteland. Put one into your hand, one into your score pile, which is into play, so he gets this to get the gold for that card, and then one on the bottom of the deck.
Yep.
So I got this one.
That one.
So. Okay, the 5 will go into my score pile. This will go on the bottom. This will go into my hand. Then I shall
Be done.
be done, I guess.
Okay, my
Right?
turn. All right, so. Well, nothing in the Abandoned Realms that I want. Draw a card here. Okay, I will play this 15 off of your 12, 13, 14 run over there. I will pay 5 gold again to activate my major ability.
Ah, okay.
So you get
Jake is
to.
3
adventurous.
random.
So the Red Dragon's major ability lets him force an opponent to have 3 of his cards that are in his score pile at random be moved to the Wasteland. So basically he's just getting rid of all of Steven's points.
Yep. Alright, and then I will.
Score is currently Jake 7 to Steven 0.
Discard this 3.
Now, you can't go into negative points, right?
Correct.
So you can only use that as long as you can afford to use it.
Correct. You cannot take a loan out.
I shall discard a 13 to skip next player's turn. Card. Discard 2.
Alright. Nothing interesting for me here. Draw a card. I will discard this 4.
Should pick up to the 3. Play 3 threes. I shall discard 13 to skip the next player's turn. I shall also activate my minor ability to look at the top 2 cards. Shall activate the minor ability one more time. Start my next turn. Just to discard. So was that
15's off the 14.
yeah, so these are gone, so I can't build off of that any longer. Discard a 4.
My turn. Draw. And I will discard. 2 cards in your hand, huh?
Correct.
discard this 6.
Discard the 10.
That. Draw a card. And I will start this other 4.
I shall draw the whole pile. 4, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6. And discard the 13 to skip the next player's turn. To also activate my minor ability to look at the top 2, put them back and however I please.
No, I'm going to put one of them on the bottom should you choose.
Yes, I may, but I shall leave both of them, I guess, to draw my first card.
The user of the Fade Dragon from the stream says that they like the artwork.
Thank you. I did some of it, so thank you.
Discard 8.
Alright. My turn. Draw a card. Alright, you have
3 4s, 3 6s, 3 3s, 14, and 11.
how many cards in your hand?
4.
Alright.
You guys also have some other guest artists that have designed some cards, correct?
Yes. We have my friend Emma, our friend Tucker, my friend Sam, and then a friend Steph of ours is doing graphic design, meaning like laying it out and making it blend all together and look pretty.
We'll discard this 2.
Draw 2. Play 3 2s. Discard 10.
Now, the round is only over when one of you runs out of cards, right?
Or when the deck runs out.
Or when the deck runs out. Okay.
Card. I'll play a 2 off of your set of 2s. And I will discard the 15. The red 15 allows me to put 2 cards from my hand into the wasteland.
Oh.
Boom.
And I'm out of
Then
cards.
you're out.
Alright. I have
Oh my.
2 gold in my hand. I'm going to get rid of that 2 gold.
Now, the cards you tapped are still worth the gold,
They're
right?
still worth the gold. It's basically a counting mechanism so that you can't use that ability an infinite number of times.
Sure.
10.
I gain 28 gold.
22. I got 22.
The score as of now is Jake 35 to Stevens 22. Catching up.
It's a better spread than before.
Indeed.
Okay, so clearly you keep the same champions from hand to hand, but you would change it probably, playing another game.
If there are 9 different colors and 9 different champions to choose from,
Okay.
and depending on what combination you're playing, kind of depends on how the game goes. since the abilities are different from one to the other. There are some whose abilities are easier and more direct to understand, and some that are a little more complicated. We are, for this game, playing two of the easier champion abilities to play, so kind of 2 out of the 3 beginner colors. The other one would be white, as far as the beginner set goes. And if you look on the Kickstarter, when it says a 3-color set of Dragoonium, that's what it's discussing as either the beginner, intermediate, or advanced sets, with red, white, and green being the beginner set, brown, blue, and yellow being the intermediate set, and black, orange, and purple being the advanced set.
Alright.
I'm first.
Yep.
Oh, snap.
I hope you don't go out.
What did you do this? Is that the skip and track card again?
That's the
Oh,
skip for
It's
the
been
next
getting
player
a lot
card
of play.
again.
Jake keeps getting it.
I would send that card to the wasteland if you get a
No,
chance.
to be fair, Steven played it once.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll put it back, sorry.
I'm going to discard the 14.
Place a card other than this one from the Abandoned Realms into your score pile.
Now I will put that red 13 in my score.
Woo!
And now I will activate my champion's minor ability.
Now, since he had a card of his own color, again, reminder, if it's in his score pile, he can then tap it, which means flip it, and then he gets to place a card from the Abandoned Realms to the Wasteland. Oh, that was... Excuse me.
That's right. Nothing in the Abandoned Realms for Steven to pick from.
You're not abandoning
Nothing.
your champion.
I am not.
Are you sure? I mean, that might be a strategy. I discard my dragon.
I'm going to play this like normal run. No.
Don't do that.
Guess I will.
Discard a 2. Alright. I'm going to play the 12 off of that 13. And then I will discard an 8.
So you can do that even though it's not a full set?
Yep, since the 14 basically let me put that card into my score pile as a single card, it is then open to be played off of either as a set of 13s or as a run.
Now that
But-
you've started it as a run, does that mean it's no longer playable as a set of 13s?
Correct, it's now in a locked state as a run.
I shall discard the 12 green, choose an opponent and a number. I choose 7. That opponent must give you all cards of that number from their hand. Thank you.
Feels like elements of Go Fish there. Yep. You got any 7s?
Got any 7s, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I will discard this 11. Go ahead.
Alright. 3 7s. How many cards do you have in hand?
3.
I shall discard 15, put 2 cards from my hand into the wasteland, and I have 2 cards left. So
So you have no cards.
I have no cards.
Woohoo! Good
Nice point.
strategy. Alright.
So that was
Nine
another pretty quick round,
Yep.
like the first round.
Yep.
We had some when we were playtesting the other, one of the other times, where the game lasted, one round lasted like half an hour.
Oh my. That is unusual, but it can happen.
If you make it through the entire deck, that's about how long it would take, right?
We did. We made it through the entire deck twice in a row.
Whoa!
9.
9 for Steven. And you?
15.
Still pulling ahead.
Gotta stop the bleeding.
Everybody give me your gold.
Alright, current score is Jake 40 and Steven 31.
What are we playing to again?
90.
90.
Or 1 hour.
Yeah,
90 or 5 o'clock.
so 10 minutes.
So probably not 90.
Unless you get a really big scoring hand right now. So, how many players can you actually have in this game?
Well, if you get the full 9 color set, you can have 9 players. The amount of gold that you need to acquire to win would change so that it doesn't take forever. The base set that you can purchase is a 3 color set, and so standard would be 3 players, but you can play up to 9 if you have all the colors. And it's playable as a minimum of 2.
Guess you couldn't really solitaire this game, huh?
Play with your imaginary friend. No.
I get
Not sweat
all
that.
the numbers and all the gold, and I win forever.
Ha! I lost!
I'm going to take scores.
3 12s.
Wow.
And then a 2 3 4. And then I'll choose you to put 2 cards from your hand into the wasteland.
Sure thing.
Well,
What do you have?
I have 2 3 4 and 12s.
I will pay 5 gold to activate my major ability.
And again,
Destroy
his
all of
major
your precious
ability
things.
This is the third
for
time you
the
used
Red
it on me?
Dragon
This
is
is the
to
third time
choose-
I've used it on you, yes.
to choose an opponent. They put 3 cards at random from their score pile into the wasteland, and again, that's why you have to pay 5 gold. That's dice.
Is this 4 now unlocked to be 3 4s, or is it still a 2 3 4?
Still a 2 3.
So even though Steven had played the cards as a 2 3 4, and now the 2 and the 3 are gone, that 4 is still in a run. So if you wanted to add to it, you'd need to play the 2 and the 3, which are gone, or go 5, 6, 7, and up from there.
Yep.
That's correct.
And adding to that run, it still has to be the same color as well.
Also correct.
Ugh. Go ahead, take your turn.
Now, are there 2 full sets of neutral cards in that deck?
Yes.
Okay. Do you always have 2 sets of neutral cards?
You play 2 sets of neutral cards, generally for 2 players, or a neutral set in a 3rd color that neither player is playing. And then you reduce the amount of neutrals in the deck more players you have.
Okay.
So then if you get to 4 players, do you not have any neutral cards?
4 players, you still want to have 1 neutral set in the deck.
Okay.
If you get to, I believe it's 6 or 7 players, you go down to no neutral cards in the deck. Alright, discard 14.
And when do we have 1 neutral set again? Is it at 3 players or 4?
It's in the rules.
It's in the rules.
Is the rules. It says 2 to 4 players, 2 sets of neutrals. 5 to 7 players, 1 set of neutrals.
Aha.
8 or more.
So when you, if you get the, if you kickstart the game, and you get the base set, do you get 2 sets of neutrals or just 1 set?
You get 1 set of, I believe you get 1 set of neutrals in it right now. So you would end up playing with the 3rd color as your neutral, as your 2nd neutral set.
Okay.
And you could still play with the 3rd color. It's just that you would not use the champion and its abilities. So.
I'm going to discard the 15, which has me send 2 cards to the wasteland. Your turn, Steve. Doing really good at scoring. Nothing.
Hmm? Oh.
Nothing.
Could be a good round for Steven if you can finish it quickly.
Yeah, activate my minor.
The minor for Steven lets him look at the top 2 cards of the draw pile. He can place one of them on the bottom. And he was able to do that from the card he discarded, which is the 10. Which lets him activate his minor ability.
Alright. My turn here. Your turn again.
Add a nice 2 to the pile.
Oh, how sweet.
So in sequence.
And then we have 3 2s, but they're
Yeah.
not able to go with each other. And a 12, 13, 14, but can't go.
You have 2 cards in your hand.
Correct. Let me go out.
I pay 5 gold.
Let me do a 3 random for you. Here you go. And there you go.
Alright. Good. Can you please give me all your 6s? Thank you.
So what just happened there was Jake discarded the maiden again, which lets him choose an opponent and a number, and that opponent must give them all of that number they have, kind of like Go Fish, like we mentioned earlier. Since Steven didn't have any, nothing happened basically. That was there first.
Discard this 2.
Ah,
We found all the 2s.
yes. And here's another 3.
Wonderful.
Abandoned Realms is getting pretty large.
And I'm out.
-3.
Well, gosh, that was vicious.
Quick turnaround.
And I get 4.
Well,
Of course, I paid 10 gold to get it.
the score is now at Jake 34 and Steven 28.
It's almost 5. Do we want
And yeah,
another
it is.
hand, or?
I think we'll.
It's actually 4:59, so I think we should call it.
All right. We'll take a short recess and come back with a different set of colors.
So then you can see how else Dragoonium can be played.
And we're gonna do 3 players again?
Yep.
This
Yeah,
time?
now we're going to do also 3 players, so you can see the difference. And how long are we taking so they know when to come
Take
back?
5-10 minutes.
We'll take 5 minutes.